When you see a guy reach for stars in the sky, you can bet that he's doing it for some dough. Call it hell, call it heaven, it's a probable 12 to 7 that the guy's only doing it for some dough. When you meet a gent paying all kinds of rent for a flat that could flatten the Taj Mahal, call it sad, call it funny, but it's better than even money that the guy's only doing it for some dough.
Welcome to the Music Hall. I'm your host, Amanda Stone, and we're at Fair Park with Guys and Dolls. Steve and Megan are here. We're so glad you're in Dallas and with us. And I'm going to start off by telling you a story.
Wonderful.
Here we go.
Here we go. When I was in high school, back when the earth was cooling, I was very interested in radio.
Okay.
So I went to a radio station to do one of those interviews that you do for possibilities of career days and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Talked to this guy. He said, no. Females cannot work on radio. You can be a secretary. And I said, I don't want to be a secretary. He said, nobody would ever listen to a woman reading the news or hosting a radio program or anything like that. And I said,
Was he?
but he went on to tell me that the only way I could get my foot in the door was to be a secretary. And then he had to tell me how terrible program directors were, that they were mean, dreadful people.
This guy sounds great.
Oh, it was really encouraging, for a career shopping.
Yeah.
And so he went on to tell me this, and then he told me a story about a disc jockey he knew. It may have been himself, I don't know that, but about this disc jockey that he knew that had, something had come up, and he mentioned the French author Guy de Maupassant. And the program director after the show, got on his case because he said, you're ignorant, you're stupid. In French, it's not Guy de Maupassant, it's Guy de Maupassant. And you don't know that. And now everybody thinks that we only employ idiots here. So fade out that scene, fast forward to the next day, and the disc jockey is in, he's playing his records, and he said, I'm gonna play a song from that great American musical called Geese and Dolls.
Wow.
So I'm glad you're here with Geese and
Yeah,
Dolls.
Geese and Dolls. I did
You're
not,
such a geese.
You're such a doll. I had no idea that was going to end that way. That was terrific.
Oh, good. Well, that's fun if you don't.
She brought her back around.
So,
See that?
yeah, that's why we're here.
I wanted to tell somebody that story for a long time, so I got
That's very clever.
I got to do it today, and I love your characters. You know what? You all should have after a show, a lottery or something, how many times Nathan and Miss Adelaide kiss on stage.
It's quite a few times.
I know, and it's different every night. Sometimes I just feel like kissing him, so I kiss him some more.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't. What a pleasure it is. This is my job, is getting to kiss this person who is absolutely gorgeous.
How long were you all in rehearsal to prepare for the tour?
We rehearsed in New York for about 2.5 weeks. And then we went down to Fayetteville, Arkansas to what they call Tech the Show, where we put all the costumes and the sets and the lights and the sound together. So also we had about 3 weeks of rehearsal.
Not much.
Not very much.
Not very much.
Have you done either one of the roles before? Have you done Nathan before?
not.
Have you done Miss Adelaide?
I had not. I played Benny. In the last Broadway revival, but I had never played Nathan, although I fell in love with the show. The first time I saw it was when my brother did it in high school.
Really?
Yeah, he did it he was in 9th grade. He played Nicely Nicely Johnson.
Oh, I was going to say, who was
He was Nicely.
it? Oh, so he got to do Sit Down, You Rag and Then Bow.
He did. And I'm not sure if his voice, if his voice had completely changed yet. So I think he had to like go up the octave and then down. People all said, sit down. But because, like when your older brother is in a show, you go back and see every performance of it. So I think I saw the dress rehearsals. I think I probably saw him in it like 5 or 6 times.
And then you had it memorized.
Sort of did, because,
It's just imprinted in your soul.
Yeah, he's like my hero, so
Aw,
every day watch it.
sweet.
Yeah.
Megan, what was your first encounter with
I think I saw the movie first,
Oh.
ages ago. And then I don't recall, I'm sure I saw a stage production of it at some point, but I went to see this one in the last revival. And other people I know.
How come you didn't say hi?
Well,
Well, because your husband was in it? Is
Yeah.
that why you did? Her husband was in the revival with me.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah.
What was your impression of, this, it's opened in 1950, so does it seem quaint or vintage?
It does, in a way. I feel like the rhythm, and it's so funny because we have a redhead, it feels a lot like an episode of I Love Lucy, and how how it sort of clips along. It's joke after joke after joke, and it's written in a rhythm that's very 1950s, and it works. And that the way it was structured and written is, I think it's
I think if you honor the way it's written, it works. I think if you try to go against the way that it's written, then it doesn't work. Then the time period sticks out more. I think it's more relevant when you just play what it is, and people can relate more to the jokes and relate more to what's going on because you're not commenting on it. You're just saying it.
When you prepare for a role like this, there's the movie hovering over some way, and many people have done the roles. Do you seek out background from anyone else, or do you go inside and find Miss Adelaide, for example?
Well, personally, I think it's a happy balance between knowing what your audience wants, what they expect. There are certain things that you know that they're going to want to hear. When they want to hear the voice, that they want to hear the sneezes and all of that. But I think as actors, it's our job to bring as much as ourselves to the role as possible, because that's what we do. We share a bit of ourselves with the audience so that they can relate to what we're going through.
And Megan is very good at doing that, by the way. There's a lot of Megan in this Adelaide, and it's charming, because she's a very charming person, but it really comes through in the character.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve, are you a New Yorker?
I'm a native New Yorker. I'm from upstate New York, Rochester.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to school at NYU, and then I stuck around for a while, and I've been back and forth from New York and LA, but New York is, I call that home base.
I always try to say Nathan.
Nathan, yeah. It's a fun accent, and there aren't really people that talk like that anymore.
I don't know, have you been to Staten Island recently?
Well, maybe Staten Island. Yeah, they sort of talk like that in Staten Island, yeah. I can't even, it's so early, I can't even do the accent. I can't even figure out how to put my mouth around it. But it is it's a great piece about New Yorkers, and that is quintessentially sort of that time period, the 1950s. And I think people enjoy the funny accents and the great songs.
It's a beautiful time period, too, to watch and be a part of. Don't you think you bring a lot of yourself to Nathan?
Oh, yeah, totally. I think that you sort of have to. But I talk with Megan, yeah. So it's fun.
We play.
Well, and you're you're on stage a lot, and you've got a number of songs, so you all don't get much chance to take a deep breath backstage.
Yeah, the show goes a mile a minute, and it's a lot of talking. She does a lot of dancing.
And she gets to wear really cool shoes. Because I took my glasses and started looking at your shoes last night.
I like show shoes. Yeah.
They look comfortable, because you had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
You could just
They've gotta be.
plant your feet and belt a number. What's it like, since Frank Lesser wrote both the words and the music. Is there a difference to you as an actor, singer, of doing something that somebody wrote both words and music, or can you tell the difference if it's a partnership?
That's a very good question. You know, I feel like the lyrics feel as true to the spirit of the piece as the book does, meaning the script of the show. I feel like they go very well hand in hand. The only song that you and I sing together is Sue Me, which is a very simple, plaintive number of a couple being in an argument. And I think it's actually a beautiful insight into this relationship that the script has built, that they actually, this is how they communicate through song, is they have the same sort of back and forth relationship that they do when they talk.
Well, there were a couple of men sitting around me last night who really liked the song. Who really liked the song a lot.
In my experience, I find when the same person writes the music as the lyrics, they seem to fit together a little better than having one person write the music and one person write the lyrics. Like they just sort of mesh a little. It's like they're meant to be together.
Especially when Frank Lesser does it.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
He's very good.
He's all right. He's all right. Him and Stephen Sondheim, they're okay. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because as you're going through what you're doing, the rhythm of Damon Runyon, I think, comes through. You know, I think I want to go find a story and read one again, because I don't read Damon Runyon very much.
Aren't the names of his characters terrific?
Oh, yes.
Brandy Bottle Bates, with the Greek Scranton Slim, Liver Lips Louie, and those are all characters actually that were taken from his books, that they just sort of jammed all into one story. It's like all the Dick Tracy villains, you know. But it's very evocative of that period of New York that he observed.
Well, and as far as I'm concerned, the Fugue for Tin Horns, I love
Love it.
that. And
Yeah.
it's one of those earworms that gets inside and won't go away. So.
I just heard that expression for the first time recently. It's amazing.
Oh.
Earworm, I'd never heard that before to describe a song you can't get.
I never heard that
Yeah,
before.
me neither. It's cool.
Well, they do. They creep in, and sometimes they're ones that you don't want.
And isn't it interesting too, that song is totally unrelated to any plot point in the show. Never is horse racing really mentioned again.
No, but it just sets up that you guys are gamblers.
Exactly, and I think that that's a cool way to start the show. You have there's a whole Runyon Land sequence where you just see a whole bunch of characters in and around New York, the hustle and bustle, and these three guys sing this song, and then you're in it. The world is established, and you just get to jump in.
That's right, and they're all in similar costumes with little trim that's in different colors, so we know they go together. And then Nathan comes in and with his flamboyant plaid.
Yeah.
Yes. So we can't lose you at all.
Okay, yes.
Your costumes, Megan, just look like they're great fun to wear.
They are. They are. They're actually, all of our costumes are from the last revival.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They really are. You all are so nice to take time off and come and visit with us, because we appreciate you and appreciate you being here. And
We appreciate you. Texas so far has been very welcoming and wonderful audience. Wonderful.
well, one of the things that's very traditional in this state is when people get ready to leave, the phrase goes, "Y'all come back." You hear? So y'all come back. Thank you.
Wall will.